Good evening and welcome to the debate between the candidates for the 5th Congressional District, Republican Lori Chavez-DeRemer and Democrat Jamie McLeod-Skinner. Whoever wins the election next month will be leading a newly redrawn district that stretches from Bend over the mountains into Lynn County and then up into Clackamas County. A coin flip determined who will go first. Lori Chavez-DeRemer, you begin tonight and you have 90 seconds for opening statements.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for hosting KTVZ. You know, it's exciting to be here in front of you all. We think about what our history and what brings us here, and I think about my great-grandparents, my grandmother who had a 6th grade education, my father who was a union worker who worked sometimes 2 and 3 jobs, my mom who just retired at 76 years old in February, and then I think about 31 years of being married and the commitment to what that means in building a business and raising a family. I've raised 2 beautiful twin girls who are now 28 years old, built a business over 150 families, and was mayor of Happy Valley for 8 years, where we kept taxes low, fully funded our police, and made sure that we offered educational opportunities for all of our young people. But more importantly, accountability and transparency was the key. You know, I've proven over and over again my track record and what that means to run a family, build a business, be a mayor. And I think moving forward, we have to have a growing economy. We have to make sure that we have a secure community, safe communities, a free America, and transparent government. You'll see tonight that my opponent, while she has said different things in the past, is not always truthful. She praises AOC. She praises Nancy Pelosi, and she praises Governor Brown. You'll see a clear difference tonight.
Thank you, Lori Chavez-DeRemer. And now, Jamie McLeod-Skinner, 90 seconds for opening remarks.
Well, thanks so much for hosting this debate tonight. I live here in Central Oregon. My wife and I live just outside Terrebonne, where we've got chickens and dogs and goats and bees. My family's here in Central Oregon. My mom's a retired teacher here. I'm a proud product of Oregon schools, finished high school in Southern Oregon and law school over in Eugene. To my OSU friends, look, OSU didn't have a law school, okay? But I've committed my life to public service. I learned that from my mom. When I was young, my mom was a single mom raising 2 kids. She worked 3 jobs to put food on our table, and showed us the meaning of working hard to care for your family, care for your community. I appreciate her stopping by the studio just before I came in here tonight. She's a retired teacher here in Bend. You know, I've committed myself to public service, whether at the local level, as a staff member, as a city manager, as a council member, and also vice mayor, working on issues like economic development, affordable housing, working on issues that people care about. Most recently, leading a city in wildfire recovery, a huge issue here in Central Oregon. So right now, I'm also helping emergency preparedness with the state, and also working on drought issues here in Central Oregon, bipartisan solutions. That's how we do things well here, best in here in Central Oregon. We have serious challenges ahead of us, and we need serious leaders with actual on-the-ground experience. I fix things. That's what I do for a living, and look forward to our conversation tonight.
All right, very good. We're ready for question number 1. We're going back and forth tonight on who begins. I can go second. Jamie McLeod-Skinner, so you'll get question number 1 first. District 5 now includes both east and west of the Cascades. Some say there's a division there. How will you bridge that divide, Jamie?
Just how I've always done here in Central Oregon, and my work through OWEB, the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, my work on the Education School District. We work across the aisle to bring people together, to focus on those big picture problems and get the job done. Look, regardless of party affiliation, we all want to be able to put a roof over our head and food on our table. We want opportunities for our kids. We want health care for our families when they're sick. We want safe communities. We don't want our homes to burn down. We want working families to get ahead. That's the experience I have. That's why I'm supported by not just the Democratic Party, but the Independent Party of Oregon, the Working Families Party, by pro-choice groups, a huge issue in this debate, also by so many working families, virtually all the working family groups across the district, because they know I'm a working family champion, proud former union member. We focus on problem solving and bringing people together. And I've got a track record of doing that here in Central Oregon, but really across the state. That's how we solve problems.
All right, same question to you, Lori Chavez-DeRemer.
Well, again, I think for sure identifying the problem of the solutions that we're looking for. And as a business owner, as a mom, I raised twin girls, identical twin girls. And you can only imagine 1 minute apart some of the discrepancies in their views and how we have to solve that. And as a business owner, 150 families that we're supporting throughout the 5th District and what that means to them and what issues are important. And then as mayor, for 8 years I served as mayor, and prior to that, city council. It was important to work with the county, to work with the state, because as a small community, I was the lobbyist. I needed to be at every single table to talk about roads, to talk about affordable housing, and how we could bring people together. We did a land use bill at the state, and we had to make sure that we had 1,000 friends on our side in order to talk about bringing more lands in. You know, I think it's short-sighted to say, you know, we bridged the divide that my opponent says, but as a city manager, she was fired after 4 months because of a hostile work environment. I will tell you, that's not bridging a divide.
Very good.
I'd like to respond to that.
All right, you have 30 seconds.
We talk about accountability. I am absolutely committed to holding folks accountable. Sometimes you have bureaucrats and you have some politicians who are not comfortable with the accountability, and I got pushed back on that. And yeah, so that's the pride I take in the work I do. I also, when I went to talent, brought that same level of accountability, and people responded. We got a lot of stuff done. My opponent actually has gone on junkets with public funds and does not show accountability for use of public funds.
Lori, you have 30 seconds.
To respond to? No need to respond. I have a proven track record. I mean, this is what people look for. I'm supported by Democrats, Republicans, independents, mayors, city councilors, business owners, families, young people, the Happy Valley Youth Council. They used to call me their mom of the valley because I wanted to make sure that they were looked out and they had opportunities as they were moving through the education system. So this is an important time to look at our track records. 22 years I've lived in Happy Valley and 18 years on the ground in public service. Whether it be Rotary, whether it be hospital boards. This is the time to come together, and you have to look at our proven track records.
All right, thank you very much. We're ready for the second question. And this is not an easy one, folks, to talk about. As you know, a gunman killed 2 people in one of our local Safeway stores in August. What do you think needs to be done to prevent gun violence? We begin with Lori Chavez-DeRemer.
I tell you, our hearts go out to what happened in this district in Bend. No community member, no family member, no mom, no dad, no store clerk should ever be worried about going to work and wondering what's going to happen. The violence in this country has out of control. When we're talking about mental health, when we're talking about criminals, it doesn't matter where it happens. It has to be addressed, and it has to stop. My husband and I own and operate Evolve Health and Wellness clinics where we treat drug-resistant depression patients to get ahead of this. But I'll tell you what, we need to make sure that we fully fund our police departments. They have to have safe and secure communities. Our taxpayers pay in order for our communities to say and their leaders to say, we will keep you safe. That hasn't been done. My opponent wants to fully defund the police. She has marched in the defund the police movements 3 times. That is not good leadership.
That's not true, and my opponent struggles with a relationship with the truth. But what is notable is she didn't answer the question. She has no solutions, and despite the shootings from the Clackamas Town Center to here in Bend just recently, matter of fact, right afterwards, when we were addressing the challenges and the fear here in Bend, she was on a publicity stunt at the border. But what you notice is she didn't answer the question. So not even simple common sense solutions like violent history background checks. Refuses to offer any solutions to this problem. And on the mental health part, she's also suggesting no government funding of mental health. So she's talking about mental health with no funding. She actually wants to take away all government health care, including Medicare, Medicaid, and the VA system. So we have common sense solutions. Look, my dad hunted to put food on the table. My father-in-law grew up hunting in Eastern Oregon. This is a conversation between people who believe in responsible gun ownership and those who simply are not taking gun safety seriously. There are background checks. There are also safe storage. There's a lot of opportunities to move forward, including addressing weapons of war.
All right, thank you. Lori Chavez-DeRemer, 30 seconds to respond.
And we have those in place here in Oregon. She mentioned the border, so I want to address that. I know that the Biden-Pelosi leadership and my opponent does not want to address that border. But I can tell you this, I needed to see with my own eyes what's happening right here in Oregon. The fentanyl crisis that's happening on the streets is killing our kids. Over 130,000 Americans died last year. That's important. And so it's okay for her family to have guns, but it's not okay for everybody else. Law-abiding citizens have a right to protect their Second Amendment, and I will do just that.
Okay, 30 seconds back to you, Jamie McLeod-Skinner.
Again, no solutions and no opportunities to move forward. This is this conversation of one responsible gun ownership, especially in Central Oregon. A lot of us own guns, and also those who don't want to take this issue seriously. You know, some of the other things we're seeing in terms of lack of responsibility, those junkets like limo rides and golf trips on behalf of the public taxpayer dollar. With regard to public safety, the former chief of police right here in Bend supports me because of my commitment to public safety.
All right, we're ready for question number 3 already, and we'll begin with you, Jamie McLeod-Skinner. Affordable workforce housing is in critical shortage here in Central Oregon. As a member of Congress, what could you do to help besides just throw money at the issue?
Well, actually, I'm working on an affordable home ownership project right now. One of the key aspects of this is home ownership, because we're also seeing mega corporations buying up housing and then forcing people into rental and then cranking up the price. So it's affordable home ownership, affordable housing, but also dealing with the crisis on the streets with homelessness. So we need short-term and long-term solutions. Short-term is getting people off the streets, providing wraparound services, including mental health support and addiction support. And then long-term, making investments. These are public-private partnerships we need to be building. I have experience actually doing this. I help work as part of a private-public partnership on affordable housing for educators. What we need to be doing at the federal level is targeting resources to community development block grants, CDBG funding. I worked at this as a city planner, as a council member, and also as a city manager. Get those resources targeted to increase the amount of housing that we have, and then also make sure that people can get access to it. This is a huge issue for our veterans as well.
Lori DeRemer Chavez, you have a minute to respond to that.
Oh, thank you very much. And you can call me Lori. I think that that's perfectly fine. I know the names are kind of long, so I appreciate that. Yeah, the UGB is the land use issue in this state is very difficult. So for us from the federal level to be able to subsidize and help and bring money to the state is important. When my opponent talks about CDBG grants, the problem isn't that they're available. They're only available to larger cities. And they're also the regulatory portion of that to apply for that. My gosh, you have to have a PhD in deciding how to fill out the application. That's no good for local elected official. I know it was difficult for the city of Happy Valley to ever fall in line with that. We had to work through our county partners. And we're talking about a land use, bringing that land in. We are going to have to work in order to bring more lands into the UGB in order to have more affordable housing. We're going to have to talk about middle housing. I am endorsed by the realtors. That is their #1 issue, to make sure that they can build affordable housing. But we cannot over-regulate this issue in the land use sector in Oregon.
All right. Thank you very much. You'll get 30 seconds. I want to apologize. I got your name inverted there.
It's just so long, I know. Thank you.
All right, 30 seconds.
And I agree. Why don't you use first names for us? So the urban growth boundary is actually a state issue, not a federal issue. And then CDBG funding, yeah, that's the whole point. It's not rocket science if you understand how to actually do this on the ground and how housing development actually works. The kind of work I've done as a planner, as a city manager, I've helped to get affordable housing going in Talent after the city lost 1/3 of its homes and businesses last year after the horrific wildfire, just down the road from where I finished high school. I had family on either end of that fire, and a friend of mine lost her home in the fire. But it's not rocket science. It's just about good policy.
All right, thank you very much. Ready for the next question now. And we'll begin with you. Oh, I'm sorry, 30 seconds for Lori.
Well, I was going to comment on, you can say it's not rocket science, and there's no reason to get into this battle, but I can tell you there's so many communities in the state of Oregon, when we're helping them from the federal level in order to access that, they don't have the staffing capabilities to do that. The taxpayers, their budgets are so small that they cannot just hire a dedicated person to fill out these applications. So that's a mistake. I was mayor for 8 years and city council for 6. Remember, 4 months and then fired for a hostile work environment. I'm not sure that my opponent knows exactly what she's talking about on that level.
All right, that question was about workforce housing.
I know.
The next question is, what could you do on a federal level to address the homeless crisis? Lori?
Oh my gosh, we are seeing, I think the latest report came out, 15,000 homelessness in the state of Oregon, and I'm sure those numbers are not actually accurate. It's very difficult to get those counts, but we have to make sure that we can get people off of the streets. I mean, we're getting ready to go into winter here, and we know it gets cold. It gets cold over here in Central Oregon. We cannot have our family members, brothers and sisters on the streets of anywhere in Oregon. But I will tell you this, the drug addiction problem that we have, over 90% have some sort of addiction crisis going on in their lives, and we have to make sure that we address that as well. So we have a criminal problem, we have a mental health problem, we have an addiction problem, and the leadership in this state has gone by the wayside. If we don't start to get the criminals off of the street by fully prosecuting and making sure that all of our communities are safe, that's one thing. But we have to make sure we have the wraparound services for the mental health crisis that we're seeing. We cannot keep letting people die on the streets. It's not humankind.
All right, Jamie?
Sure. I touched on the overall solution on recognizing homelessness and housing as an overall issue. But again, the housing issue for workforce housing specifically is developing better policy at the federal level and making sure that state and federal systems are overlapped. That's part of developing good policy. So it's not just being overwhelmed by it. It's actually understanding how it works so you can make it work. And this, in my work in talent, in my work on a city council, in my work as a city planner, this is all very doable stuff. You just have to have the understanding and background, not be overwhelmed by it. But yeah, on houselessness and homelessness, I was talking to someone right here in Bend who's homeless just the other day, and they were struggling with availability of housing. So that's one of those things, getting affordable housing available. Again, this is a huge issue for our veterans. But the other thing they were talking about is health care, not having access to health care. And that's what caused them to be homeless in the first place. My opponent wants to defund health care. It says no government funding of health care. It's Medicare, Medicaid, and the VA system.
All right. Okay, 30-second rebuttal.
That's a lie. That's an outright lie. I'm not even sure what you mean by that, but talking about our veterans, my goodness, they protected this country. They laid in the sand. They don't need to lay on our streets. We need to make sure that we support our veterans at all costs. As far as funding, our business, again, 40% of our business in the mental health sector is Medicaid and Medicare funding. So again, we have to make sure that's protected. That's mandatory spending at the congressional level. We will fully fund our Social Security, our Medicare, and our Medicaid for our seniors and our veterans.
Jamie, 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it says right on my opponent's website that she does not believe in government-funded health care. Medicare and Medicaid, the VA system are government-funded health care. It's just a simple fact. Go to her website and check it out. The other thing is this system that she's proposed, it simply doesn't pencil out. You talk to anyone who's a healthcare expert, they will laugh at what she's proposed in terms of funding for it. The model she's looking at is actually taking us away from a secure system for our healthcare providers, taking away things that keep them as contractors and don't protect their healthcare and also their retirement.
All right, next question. People who live in population centers, farms, ranches, Indian tribes, recreation, we all want water. Where's the compromise, Jamie?
So I got my law degree on water law and Indian law, focused on these issues. My civil engineering degree focuses on geotechnical engineering. That's that background. And I also, my master's degree focused on watershed management. So having the background from the micro level to the macro level is critically important. Water law is state law, but there's also federal components to this. We need to work in partnerships with our state and our tribes, which is, of course, our sovereign nations, to make sure that we're addressing those issues. But on the federal level, mostly we can be doing is investing in water conservation measures. There are steps being taken. I've been to them right here in Central Oregon, some of the projects that we've had that have water efficiency measures. This is also potentially a political issue. I worked very closely behind the scenes last year with Republicans and Democrats we were trying to find solutions for those struggling with drought and facing the drought crisis without having this blow up as a political issue. Too many people, like my opponent, are trying to use these issues to be divisive and drive people apart instead of just solving problems.
Lori, where's the compromise?
Oh, again, this isn't a political issue. This is bringing everybody to the table that you all mentioned. You know, right here in Central Oregon, when we talk about the North Unit, the Chutes River Conservancy, when we're talking about Central Oregon Irrigation District, and just recently, I believe last week, the water bank that was developed last cycle, it didn't really work all that well, but they were excited to try it again. And now they're able to, where if you have the superior water rights, you can go ahead and pass those on to the junior water right holders in order for them to be able to ranch and farm. That's important work, but it has to be at the table. I don't care what expert we all think we're in. Our job is to listen. Our job is to bring everybody to the table. That's the track record I bring. Again, being a mayor, it was always just slow down, listen to what the issues are, and come up with common sense solutions. That's what I bring to the table. This is not a political issue. This is something that we can solve together when we can identify the problem, which we have, and now let's work together to come up with those solutions.
30 seconds back to you, Jamie.
I was working on this issue right here in Central Oregon, again, behind the scenes with Republican and Democratic county commissioners, with folks who were part of irrigation districts. This is such critical work for Central Oregon. You know, we're drier on this side of the state, so it's a bigger issue here, although climate issues across our state, including wildfire, are critical issues for us to address because our homes are literally burning down. But you know, it's much more complicated than the simple statements made by my opponent. But some of us, myself included, have actually been working on this issue and creating the solutions that she's discussing.
All right. Lori, 30 seconds.
I don't have a rebuttal to that. It's just something to work on. I look forward to working with Congressman Cliff Bentz, who is really a water expert, who's back in Congress, who has an eye on this. I'll learn from him, and I'll make sure to listen to our ranchers, our farmers, our developers, and the people who need water, and also make sure our watersheds are protected. That's what we have to address as well. I think we're all on the same page. This is our state, and we have to make sure that we pay attention to our natural resources.
All right, we're ready for the next question. This is just rolling right along here. 19 states and the District of Columbia have legalized recreational marijuana. Federal law still makes it illegal. Would you support a federal bill to legalize marijuana? Why or why not, Lori? You get to go first.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you the issues that are addressed on this issue. I got to remember, I'm sorry if I don't remember the measure number, I think 91 maybe when it was passed. Excuse me if I don't remember that. But this is something that is a legalized business. This is something that people talk about, and it's regulated by OLCC. When we talk about it at the federal level, the biggest issues that come about are the banking industry of it. When these proceeds are collected and they're turned over and paid their taxes, it becomes legal tender. But in order to do business in the state of Oregon, it becomes very difficult for some of these business owners to do business. So I'd like to take a look at it. I will tell you as what it looks like across the nation. We'd have to see what that bill looks like. But as we're seeing these states pass this, I think it's something that Congress will probably take up.
Okay. Jamie? Short
answer is yes. Oregonians have decided this is part of our ag sector right now. And although it does, being aware of impacts, it does have a heavier water use. But the Oregonians have made this decision. So it would be my job to make sure that that decision is carried through in Washington, D.C., and we get legislation to allow our ag business owners who are in the marijuana industry to make sure that they can do banking, that they can utilize and fully grow their business. So literally and figuratively. So that's the job in D.C. right now, and getting folks on the other side of the aisle or on the other side of the issue to see this is about protecting our ag sector, protecting our economy. There's one other issue. So I'm talking about the federal level. At the state level, there's some opportunities for the state to make sure that some of the resources going back in terms of the taxation also help to protect the areas where it's grown and not just where it's sold. But that's a state level issue.
All right. Neither one of you took a full minute there. Would you like 30 more seconds, Lori, on that?
Well, I think the thing to address also when we're talking about regulated cannabis is a little bit different than illegal cannabis and what we're seeing come up. And I know that there's been some concern with some illegal grows in the southern portion of our state, stealing some water and all of that. But that's a little bit different than we're talking about legal cannabis. So, again, I think it's going to take more and more eyes, more and more ears to really understand. But it's just another industry that Oregon has decided that this is important to them. It's a tax revenue for the state of Oregon as well to sometimes fully fund our schools, fund our public safety, and I think that that's important, especially when our public safety is lacking.
Jamie, 30 seconds.
I guess just to add that there's folks in this industry that are supporting me in addition to so many working families. I mean, this is part of our ag industry now. It's part of our economy. We really need to grow our economy and make sure that people can get back to work post-COVID. We're supporting our working families. That's why I'm supported by so many working families, a former union member myself. I've heard so much frustration with my opponent, who's a multimillionaire and doesn't have some of that understanding of local, everyday issues that working families are facing.
Very good. Next question, and Jamie, you get to start on this one. Is the federal government doing enough to address preventing all these western wildfires? What still needs to be done, if anything, and what is the best prevention method? Jamie?
So we are, the climate crisis presents a real and present danger. And this is no longer time for discussion about whether or not it's real. Our homes are literally burning down. Our family farms are going under. We must take action. And that's everything from a partnership at the local, state, and federal level for emergency preparedness. That's some of the work I do now to help Oregonians in Central and Eastern Oregon. Also in emergency recovery, and that's work I did in Talent, a city that lost 1/3 of its homes and businesses to wildfire. I led wildfire recovery there and helped people get back on their feet post-recovery. But we also need to look at this long-term trajectory. And so there was a major first step taken by Democrats in the recent legislation, but there are other things we need to do. A big piece of this is building a 21st century renewable energy grid. But this must be done. This must be done in partnerships with our unions to not leave working families behind. We can have redundant systems, but make sure we reduce carbon emissions. And these are issues I'm addressing on OWEB, the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, and several other capacities as well.
Okay, Lori, your turn.
Yeah, for sure. I think the most important thing we can do is get out of the courtroom and back into our forests. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, when you bring people to the table, the foresters, when you bring our ranchers, we're talking about our grazing land, when you're talking about the natural resources, if you bring them to the table, the only thing we do is waste money in that courtroom, looking through the lens of extreme environmentalists. That is the problem. When we talk about what we could bring to the state with our natural resources, we have to thin those forests because we know the fuel load is high. We know that there are dry forests and they are causing mega fires. My opponent says she's an expert at it. She says she wants to help it. But what has she done? Because we're still burning down every single fire season, and we have to get in there. Not to mention our natural resources. We're talking about BLM lands versus our private lands. Well, we can harvest timber at about 77% of the rate for private. We're only about 8% in the public lands. We have to get into those forest roads, and we have to make sure we can reduce that fuel load so that we don't have these mega fires anymore.
30 seconds, Jamie.
Anybody in this field will tell you you're not going to cut your way to a solution. It's just simply not common sense. In the city of Talent, which lost 1/3 of its homes and businesses to wildfire, where I led wildfire recovery, it wasn't a forest, it was an urban area. So this is not simply about cutting down more trees. Anybody in the field will tell you that. It's about there's fuel reduction, there's management that we have, but what we must do is stop the trajectory we're on. And we have working people working on this, unions are working on it, environmental groups are working on it. We have to develop a partnership to create serious solutions.
Lori, 30 seconds.
My opponent believes in the Green New Deal. I can tell you this. All of that lens of the environmentalists to the far left, the far extreme in these forests, that will cost $93 trillion through 2035. Through 2029, we're talking over $50 trillion. That straps all Oregonians $700,000 more a year through 2029. We can't afford that. Let's get everybody at the table. Let's make sure we can get to our natural resources. Let's get back on the ground and get back up to our public lands and more board feet per year in order to be sustainable in this beautiful state that we have.